I think for me, like, there's so many different times where like I fell in love with music, but I think something that's recurring in my journey has always been like family being there during that moment of like, oh shit, like I really love doing this.
Yeah.
And you know, growing up, I'm half Dominican, so I used to go to my abuelas all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a language barrier, and they didn't speak a lot of English, and so like some of the only moments that I felt truly connected to them, like I was really speaking and communicating with them, was when I sang. And they would make me sit on the couch and
Yeah.
everybody would just be like, sing, sing, sing. And
Sing that song, Shelby.
yeah, and I remember like one year my dad had got me like a ukulele for Christmas. And that year, like we just spent the whole time like just all of us singing around the tree, and it was something I'll always remember.
That's dope. That's dope. That's a dope way to start it off with love and with family.
Yeah.
Does anyone else in your family, can they sing, or were you the sole superstar at the time?
My grandpa can sing, like my abuelo, he could sing.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you maybe got it passed down from him.
yeah.
And back then, do you remember who you were listening to, or who you were really vibing out to growing up?
When I was little, I was just listening to whatever my parents put on, but it was always good music. So like when I was in the car with my mom, she always played like bachata, salsa, a lot of Mark Anthony, Juan
Okay.
Luis Guerra, a lot of like reggaeton and dembow, like Dominican stuff. And then when I was with my dad, it was like a lot of R&B, like Day 26, a lot of Lauryn Hill. And so I think it was cool for me growing up to have that that merge of cultures, because I feel like that's what Houston is. So I've always had that experience where like culture has been a big part of my music, which is cool to me, because I feel like I'm never stuck. I'm never like stuck in a place where I don't have ideas, because I can constantly pull from different places.
Yeah, it's good to have not just one, to be one-dimensional.
Yeah.
So good that you have multiple influences. Let's fast forward a little bit, because I saw that you credit one of your teachers for making you fall in love with writing. What was it about Mr. Jackson's English class that inspired you?
I think it was like the first time that I was put in front of people that weren't my family, that really enjoyed my writing and like my storytelling. Every start of the class, he would be like, all right, take out your notebooks. Come on, we writing this story. And I remembered like just having so much fun letting my imagination go like to every which way, and just making up the craziest shit I could write on the story, the notebook that day. And it got to a point where like everybody was waiting for the 10 minutes to be up after we were done writing, and they would be like, let Shelby read, like we want to hear her story.
Oh, dang.
And it was just exciting for me to see how much my words could like move people and like really have people, interested.
Yeah, that's to get kids excited about writing at that age. That you must have been writing some shit for real. Like you must have been really saying something for people to be like, hey, I want to hear her read, because I just wanted to get out of class. I wasn't trying to stay there. I wouldn't have been trying to hear nothing you had going on. But that's dope that you did have that influence to kind of give you that ability, because if y'all don't know, you should know. She got a pen on her, and she can definitely develop a story. So as a fan, I appreciate that. Do you remember some of the first songs that you wrote, or the very first song that before you started releasing anything? Do you remember anything about the first songs?
Yeah, I remember the first song I wrote. I still have my first like song journal. And I read through them like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, man, this shit trash. But there's one song in particular that I remember, and it was called "The Way You Make Me Feel." And I actually have like a video of me like singing that song to with my family.
Right.
And I look back to it like all the time, because it's like it was the first song that like I sang in front of people, and it's a love song, so
we need that.
Yeah,
we need those visuals ASAP. But shout out to the lovers out there. Well, one song that wasn't trash, and I don't know if that one was actually trash, or you just being a hard critic as we are as creators on ourselves. But at 14, you released "Deserve It."
Yeah.
Tell me, I listened to that song, and before I didn't, when I heard it the first couple of times, I didn't know that you released it at 14. So then when I saw that, I said, 14? This is what she sounded like at 14. And the songwriting is well written as well. Like you really talking on there as a 14-year-old. So what was that like seeing the reception you got from it? You know, how did you feel about yourself at the time as an artist?
Yeah. So Deserve It was one of the first songs that I posted on the internet. And I remember I would just go to YouTube, type in beats and rip it off of YouTube to MP3 and just like throw it into GarageBand and just write something to it and record it. And that I had posted that song in particular on Twitter. And I remember I woke up the next day and I was like, what the fuck? Like this shit got 1,000 retweets. Right. And I remember going to school and like there were people singing the song to me in the hallways. And I was like, whoa, like I like this. Right. Like I like this. And it was a crazy experience. And so like I ended up just dropping it because my friends told me to and they wanted to hear it. And that was like my first journey into this career. And I knew that I really wanted to do it because like I was doing all this research about what's copyright and how do I upload, where the distributors at, and I was really passionate about it. And so like I'm still passionate about it this day. And so I think it speaks to like how one moment can kind of influence the rest of your life.
Right. Yeah, I can't imagine being at my school and there being a song that I have that people sing. Like, I feel like my head would have been so big, like, oh, they like my music? Oh, yeah, nah, I'm him right now. I'm him. So I'm glad that you took it on the chin and didn't take it as a moment to get your head big, but like, oh, okay, I can do this. And you start seeing that confidence.
Yeah.
That's cool. So then you kept going, you write songs here and there, and then you ended up going to audio engineering school.
Right.
And that's when you learned how to record, mix, and master. What made you decide to take that route instead of just like sticking to writing songs and singing? You decided, hey, let me learn how to be an engineer.
Oh, so that story is a little crazy. So when I graduated high school, my dad was like, hey, you should go to this media tech school. Like, you can learn some shit. And I was like, nah, I'm leaving. I can't stay here. Yeah. So I ended up leaving to Texas State, and I only stayed there for a semester because right when I went, COVID hit, I had to come back home. And so, everything happened for a reason. Like, that was probably God, the universe saying, you got to come back home. And so I ended up touring media tech again, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go here. Like, the studios was amazing. And I went, and there I was like, okay, I'm just going to be a songwriter. I'm going to learn how to audio engineer. I'm going to be behind the scenes. And I was doing that. I was songwriting. I was writing. And I remember one day my friend Romy, he came into the studio, and he was listening. He was like, this is hard. Yeah. I'm going to send you a beat pack. And that was the first moment that I was like, oh, my God, like, a producer is like, I'm going to send you some beats. I'm good enough to do this shit. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to just do this music. And so he was one of the first people that I released again after I dropped Deserve It. Okay. Which was a pretty cool moment. And to this day, we're friends. He produces pretty much all my music. And so we're here we are.
Well, shout out to Romo for seeing it. It seems to be a constant theme with you as far as being surprised at reactions. Like, first it's your family pulling you, saying that you sing, and then it's your middle school and you're surprised, and then you're surprised at the trade school. Do you have that confidence now, or do you still get surprised that, because now you have even more accolades, even more accomplishments, and we're going to talk about some of the things you've done in the past couple of years. Do you still feel surprised, like, okay, this is me, I'm an R&B artist, or I'm not going to box her in because she's a lot of boxes, but I'm an artist, I'm good at this, I'm good at singing. Is that something that you like know 100% now?
I think for me, sometimes it's hard for me to sit in the stuff I've accomplished. And so, like, I have to constantly get reminded, like, hey, like, You did that shit.
Yeah.
Like, you should pat yourself on the back.
Right.
And I think it's a common thing with everybody now. Like, in this day and age, everybody's chasing something, and when you're not where you want to be, you're like, I gotta do better. I gotta do more. I can do more. And I think now I'm getting to the point where it's like, okay, I have a process. Like, once I do something, practice gratefulness,
Yeah.
and then move to the next goal.
Okay.
And I think that that being surprised that like the stuff that I'm good at came from a part of myself that didn't truly like love myself and like really take care of myself, and now I'm getting to the point where like I do those things, and yeah, I'm just grateful every day to like be able to touch people with my music.